I never thought I'd end up working at Sterling Corp, one of the biggest tech companies in Seattle. Growing up in a small town in Idaho, raised by a single mom who worked 2 jobs, corporate life seemed like a distant dream. But here I was, Sarah Collins, 26 years old, sitting at my desk on the 47th floor of Sterling Tower. Well, technically, it was a cubicle. A very small cubicle. Collins, where's the Johnson report? I flinched at the sharp voice of Diana Pierce, my immediate supervisor and personal tormentor for the past year. She stood at my cubicle entrance, designer heels tapping impatiently, perfect blonde hair swept into a severe bun. I sent it 10 minutes ago, Ms. Pierce. I replied, pulling up my sent emails. Should be in your inbox. Diana's perfectly penciled eyebrows drew together. I don't see it. Send it again. And fix those margins this time. They're atrocious. The margins were exactly as she'd specified in her last 3 memos about proper document formatting. But I knew better than to argue. Right away, Ms. Pierce. As she clicked away, I heard the whispers from nearby cubicles. Everyone knew Diana had it out for me, but no one knew why. Maybe it was my Target clearance rack clothes among their designer suits. Maybe it was my state school degree among their Ivy League credentials. Or maybe some people just needed someone to look down on to feel better about themselves. Don't let her get to you, whispered Maria from the next cubicle. She was one of the few friends I'd made here, a fellow outsider in a corporate jungle. She's just mad because Roberts praised your presentation in the morning meeting. I managed a small smile, but my hands were shaking as I resent the report. One wrong move, one tiny mistake, and Diana would have the excuse she needed to fire me. I couldn't lose this job. Not with Mom's medical bills piling up back home. The next few hours passed in a blur of spreadsheets and passive-aggressive emails from Diana. By 6 p.m., the office was nearly empty, but I was still at my desk, triple-checking a presentation for tomorrow's client meeting. Still here, Collins? No plans for Friday night? Diana's mocking voice made me jump. She stood there with her designer bag, clearly headed out. Just finishing up the Wilson presentation, I replied, trying to keep my voice steady. She examined her manicure. Don't forget about tomorrow's office party. Attendance is mandatory. Try to wear something appropriate this time. My cheeks burned remembering last month's team lunch where she loudly commented on my discount store fashion sense in front of everyone. After she left, I slumped in my chair, fighting back tears. The office party. Another chance for Diana to remind everyone that I didn't belong in her world. Rough day? The gentle voice startled me. A young woman stood by my cubicle, someone I'd never seen before. She looked about my age, with warm brown eyes and a friendly smile. Her clothes were simple, jeans, a sweater, and comfortable flats, making her stand out among Sterling Corp's usual power suits. I'm Emma, she said, perching casually on the edge of my desk. Just started in marketing today. Sarah Collins, I managed, quickly wiping my eyes. Welcome to Sterling Corp. Thanks, she glanced at my computer screen. The Wilson presentation. I nodded miserably. My boss wants it perfect for Monday's meeting. Ah, Diana Pierce. Emma's eyes twinkled. I heard about her. Quite the reputation. That's one way to put it. I found myself relaxing despite everything. There was something about Emma that made her easy to talk to. Hey, want to grab coffee? I know a great little place around the corner. You look like you could use a break. I hesitated, looking at my screen. The presentation will still be there in an hour. Emma said gently. Come on. My treat. Something in her voice made me nod. Grabbing my coat, I followed her to a cozy cafe I'd walked past 100 times but never entered. Over steaming lattes, Emma proved to be an excellent listener. Before I knew it, I was telling her everything about growing up poor, about Mom's illness, about landing this job and Diana's constant harassment. Why don't you report her? Emma asked, stirring her coffee thoughtfully. I laughed bitterly. To who? She's untouchable. Her father plays golf with half the board members. Besides, I need this job. Emma's eyes narrowed slightly. No one's untouchable, Sarah. Trust me on that. There was something in her tone that made me look at her more closely, but she quickly changed the subject, asking about my work in the marketing department. By the time we left the cafe, I felt lighter somehow. Emma had that effect, making problems seem more manageable just by listening. "See you at the party tomorrow?" she asked as we parted ways. I grimaced. "Unfortunately, have to find something appropriate to wear first." Emma's smile turned mysterious. "Don't worry about that. Just be yourself. Sometimes things have a way of working out." I should have known then that Emma wasn't just another new employee. Should have noticed how the security guard straightened up when she passed, how she navigated the building with the confidence of someone who'd known it for years. But I didn't. I was too preoccupied with surviving another day in Diana's world. The next evening, I stood in front of my apartment mirror, trying to make my only nice dress look more expensive than it was. The office party was being held at the Vista, one of Seattle's most exclusive rooftop restaurants. Another chance for Diana to remind me I didn't belong. My phone buzzed with a text from Emma. "Don't be nervous. Tonight's going to be interesting." I didn't know then just how right she was. Didn't know that in a few hours everything would change. That Diana Pierce was about to learn a very expensive lesson about judging people. The Vista's rooftop restaurant took my breath away. Floor-to-ceiling windows offered stunning views of Seattle's skyline. Crystal chandeliers sparkled overhead, and champagne flowed freely among the well-dressed crowd. I felt painfully out of place in my simple black dress from last year's clearance rack. Well, Diana's voice dripped with disdain. "You actually showed up, Collins, and in the same dress you wore to last year's holiday party. How economical of you." She stood with a group of senior managers, all of them smirking at her comment. Her own dress probably cost more than 3 months of my salary. "Thank you for noticing, Ms. Pierce," I managed, gripping my water glass tightly. I couldn't afford to lose my temper. "Not here, not now." "You know," Diana continued loudly, clearly enjoying her audience, "some people just don't understand corporate culture. They think they can walk in from their little small-town lives and fit in at a company like Sterling Corp." She looked me up and down meaningfully. "But class and sophistication can't be bought at Target, can they?" Laughter rippled through her group. My face burned with humiliation. "I should go check on the Wilson presentation," I mumbled, turning to leave. "Oh yes, run back to your little cubicle," Diana called after me. "That's where poor people like you belong. Not here among actual professionals." I was nearly at the elevator when a familiar voice stopped me. "Leaving so soon?" Emma stood there, but not in the casual clothes I'd seen her in yesterday. Tonight she wore a stunning red designer dress that made my simple black one look like a dish rag. Yet somehow, her warm smile was exactly the same. "I don't belong here," I whispered, fighting back tears. Actually, Emma's eyes sparkled with mischief. "You belong here more than most. Come with me." Before I could protest, she linked her arm through mine and led me back into the party. Diana was still holding court near the windows, regaling her audience with what I assumed were more jokes at my expense. "Miss Pierce," Emma called out clearly. The room suddenly went quiet. Diana turned, her practiced smile freezing when she saw Emma. "I'm sorry you are." "Emma Sterling," my new friend replied calmly, "though you probably know me better as Robert Sterling's daughter. You know, your CEO." The champagne glass in Diana's hand slipped and shattered on the floor. Nobody moved to clean it up. They were all too busy staring at Emma in shock. I was staring too. Emma Sterling, the Emma Sterling. Heir to Sterling Corp and notorious for working incognito in different departments to learn the business from the ground up. And Miss Sterling. Diana's face had gone from smug to sickly pale in seconds. "I had no idea you were. I mean, we weren't expecting." Clearly, Emma's voice was arctic. "I spent the past month observing various departments, Ms. Pierce, getting to know our employees, their strengths, their challenges." Her eyes hardened. "Their bullies." The silence in the room was deafening. "I've seen how you treat people you consider beneath you," Emma continued, "particularly Sarah Collins, one of our most promising young marketing analysts. Did you know her campaign proposals have increased our social media engagement by 47% this quarter? Or were you too busy criticizing her clothes to notice her work?" Diana's mouth opened and closed like a fish out of water. I was just maintaining professional standards." "Professional standards?" Emma's laugh was sharp. "Let's talk about professional standards, Miss Pierce. Like using company resources to plan your personal vacation, or taking credit for your subordinates' work. Or the fact that your father's golf buddies on the board can't protect you anymore because they all retired last month. The color drained from Diana's face completely. Your services at Sterling Corp are no longer required, Emma stated flatly. Security will escort you to clear out your desk. Your replacement starts Monday. She paused, then added with a hint of satisfaction. I believe you know her. Sarah Collins? My head spun. What was happening? You can't do this. Diana sputtered. My father. Your father already agreed to your termination when I showed him the evidence. Emma cut in. He was quite embarrassed, actually. Now I believe security is waiting. 2 security guards materialized as if by magic. Diana looked around wildly, but her former sycophants were suddenly very interested in their shoes. As she was led away, Emma turned to address the stunned crowd. Sterling Corp's success was built on innovation, integrity, and treating people with respect. Anyone who can't embrace those values should follow Ms. Pierce's example and leave. Now, the room quickly emptied, leaving just Emma and me. You planned this? I managed finally. Emma grinned. I've been working undercover in different departments for 6 months, evaluating our corporate culture. Diana Pierce wasn't the only toxic manager we found, but she was by far the worst. She squeezed my hand. Your promotion is real, by the way. Your work caught my eye weeks ago, before I even met you. But why? I gestured helplessly at everything. Because talent and hard work matter more than designer labels. Emma said firmly. Because I grew up watching people like Diana Pierce make life miserable for people like you. Because Sterling Corp needs leaders who lift others up, not tear them down. Tears spilled down my cheeks. Thank you, I whispered. Don't thank me yet, Emma laughed. Wait until you see your new office, and your new salary. She linked her arm through mine again. Come on, let's get out of here. That little cafe is still open, and I think this calls for celebration lats. As we left the vista, I couldn't help but smile at the irony. Diana had been right about one thing. I didn't belong in her world of petty bullying and social climbing. I belonged in something better. 3 months later, my marketing team's latest campaign won an industry award. I accepted it wearing a Target dress, standing next to Emma in her designer gown. We both smiled for the cameras, ignoring the whispers about my inappropriate attire. Because we knew something the whispers didn't. Success isn't about where your clothes come from or who your parents know. It's about what you bring to the table. As for Diana, last I heard, she was working at a small firm in Tacoma. Apparently, her father's golf connections weren't as useful as they used to be. Emma and I still meet at that little cafe every week, planning Sterling Corp's future over lats. She's still the same person who sat on my desk that Friday evening, kind, genuine, and completely unimpressed by designer labels. And me? I still shop at Target, but now I do it from my corner office on the 50th floor. Sometimes life has a way of putting bullies in their place. Sometimes all it takes is one person willing to stand up and say enough. And sometimes, just sometimes, the person you think is just a friendly new colleague turns out to be exactly who you needed in your corner all along.